Okay, hi. So today I will be reviewing Agamemnon by Aeschylus. So first play in the 110 play project. I read the play last night, reviewing it today, as I will be doing with all the plays. I will be reading them the night before, then I'll be reviewing them the next day. So I can have a night to think about it, I guess. Um, So, Aeschylus, let's start with him. He was born in Greece around 523 BC. Um, he is the first player who's actually his works survived in their entirety. Um, I'm not sure if there were other playwrights before him who have like fragments of their plays available, like Thespis and stuff. Um, but as far as I know, he's the first whose works survive in their entirety. Um, he wrote about 90 plays, and 7 of them still exist. There is question whether Prometheus Bound was written by him. Um, Now, the most famous of his plays is the Orsai Cycle, and that consists of 3 plays. The only surviving trilogy, actually. Greeks would operate a trilogy and then a satyr play for festivals. And Aeschylus is actually the first player to expand theater so that a character actually talks to another character rather than the chorus, because up till then, Thespis had made it so that the character would step out of the chorus and would just talk to the chorus. But now, characters like Agamemnon, Clytemnestra, or Agamemnon and, not Agamemnon, sorry, Clytemnestra and Cassandra, we have them engaging in dialogue rather than just one of them just stepping out and talking the chorus. Um, three At the time, 3 actors were used on stage at once, in addition to the chorus, of course, and 2 of them would speak. Fun facts about him: he was involved in the Persian War against Greece, and he fought the Battle of Marathon, and he also fought the Battle of Salamis. His epitaph actually commemorates his war duties rather than his writing. He competed in, I forget how many he competed in, but to my knowledge, he won 13 contests. And he did the first one in 484 BC. He won for the Orsaya. And he died around 456 BC. So, moving on, let's talk about the Orsaya cycle. It's a trilogy. Well, trilogy plus the satyr play. And I'll be talking about the satyr play in a second, but the trilogy consisted of 3 tragedies. Agamemnon, Libation Bearers, and Eumenides. The satyr play was basically the moment of comic relief, and it was just like a shorter farce, and that satyr play's name was Proteus. It once existed. Now, I think it's just, we have it in fragments. I think maybe just a few pages of it, but we do have the Orsai cycle. So this is based on a myth of the homecoming of Agamemnon at the end of the Trojan War. Agamemnon's grandfather, a long time ago, his name was Pelops, I think. He bribed this man that he's going to race for the hand of this beautiful woman. At the end of the race, he threw the man into the sea as a reward. Before that man died, he cursed Pelops' family. And later he had two sons, Atreus and Thyestes, and they got trouble because Thyestes seduced Atreus' wife. And then Atreus took two of his sons, cut them up, served them. The surviving son actually, he's in this play, his name is Gestes, sorry. Myth has been around for several years and influenced society and history and theater. Greeks were really, really religious, polytheistic, and they were really big on myths. So, that's just some background on that. One of the most important productions of this play was the National Theatre in England in 1984, I think, 1983, 84, I guess. Some of the more famous adaptations of this play, we have The Flies, by Jean-Paul Sartre, and he wrote that based on the whole cycle. Voltaire wrote Orestes, I think Orestes, that's how you pronounce it, because it's French. There was Marina Carr's Ariel, which is actually based on the first two plays in the cycle. And then there's the most famous one, Morning Becomes Electra, and that's by Eugene O'Neill, and that's set in the time of the American Civil War instead of the Trojan War. And it's probably the most famous of the plays. Shame I'm not going to be reading that one for the 110 play project, but I do like O'Neill, and I'll probably read that play at some point after the project's done. So this play was written in Greece around 458 BC. At the time, there were contests in theater, and tragedians would write these three plays in the satyr play, and they'd go up against each other for first prize. And people in Greece would just come and watch. Okay, so the plot. So there's a watchman. He's kind of like a guard, and he's sitting on the roof. He's looking out, and he's waiting for the war to be over. He has been waiting for 10 years, and suddenly this beacon lights up, and he realizes the war's over, and he runs in to tell Clytemnestra, that's Agamemnon's wife. Agamemnon is a war hero, a Greek general who fought in the Trojan War, and the king of Argos. So the chorus, which consists of some old men, they enter. They don't know the news, and they talk about how Agamemnon and Menelaus gathered this fleet to steal Helen back. Helen is Menelaus' wife. She's captured by the Trojans. Clytemnestra enters, ordering sacrifices, and they want to know why. And before she answers, these old men talk about Iphigenia. That's Agamemnon's daughter, who he sacrificed, stupid son of a bitch, to Artemis because he and his men were caught in a storm. So to free them, he sacrifices his daughter. So, these old men are talking about that. Clytemnestra explains about the sacrifices, and the court does not know whether to believe the news or not about the war being over. But in comes a herald, the big man, and suddenly when he tells them Agamemnon's coming home, they're like, "Oh my God, he's coming home." Clytemnestra is like, "I told you so." Menelaus, it's mentioned that Menelaus, Agamemnon's brother, is lost. And then the chorus goes on and talks about how Helen is the cause of the war. So Agamemnon enters. Big old Agamemnon in a chariot with Cassandra. And Cassandra is his concubine, his slave woman that he captured basically in the war, the Trojan War. And the chorus hails him. All hail Agamemnon. And Clytemnestra enters and she declares her love for her husband and all that. And then she asks her maidens to put out a carpet. And Agamemnon's kind of skeptical and he's like, "I'm not going to step on a carpet. I'm not a god. I'm not a woman who just, like, you throw them carpets and they just go, oh, the trumpet's blowing," all that kind of stuff. The thing is, he is that way, to be honest. He is all for trumpets and lightning flashing and just chariots, all that kind of stuff. He isn't that. He's just trying to act humble. And then Clytemnestra kind of goads him and says, "Oh, Priam, that's the Trojan king, says he would have done it." So, so Agamemnon basically gets on carpet and they go inside. And Clytemnestra comes out and she asks Cassandra to follow her. Cassandra then speaks against Apollo. And she talks about how Apollo wanted to have a child with her. But, at the last moment, she turned away. And before, he wanted to have sex with her, he gave her a gift. So that she could foretell prophecies. At this instant, when she's like, "I'm not going to have sex with you," he takes away her power. Wait, no, sorry, he doesn't take away her power. He curses her, actually, he curses her, by, making it so that when she, like, when she foretells a prophecy and she tries to warn people of something, and she believes something, nobody will believe her. So that's basically the curse of womanhood, at least the womanhood of those ages. And that kind of ties in with Clytemnestra. I mean, Clytemnestra said the war was over, and the old men didn't believe her. But, when the herald spoke, they did believe him. So, I find that an interesting parallel between, Cassandra and Clytemnestra in that sense. Anyway, she predicts that, Agamemnon's gonna be killed, and that she's gonna be killed by Clytemnestra. And of course, doesn't really believe her. They dismiss her as crazy. She tries to run away, but this sort of external force kind of takes her and pushes her back to where she was. And she sighs and she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go in." So she goes in, and soon enough, the bodies of Agamemnon and Cassandra come out. dead, dead, dead. And Cloudmaster talks to Chorus, and they're angry at her for what she did. But she calls them hypocrites because basically they did nothing when Iphigenia was killed by well, not killed, sacrificed by Agamemnon. Soon after Aeschylus, Clytemnestra's lover, comes out and talks about how it's a lovely day for revenge, and these two are going to basically rule over Argos together. Of course, at the end, just warns him that Orestes, the son of Agamemnon, Clytemnestra, who's in exile, will come back and avenge his father's death, as predicted by Cassandra. And Clytemnestra's like, stop this foolishness, be off with you. And the play ends, and it will later pick up in Libation Bearers. So let's talk a little bit about characters, shall we? Let's start with the chorus. They consist of old men. Sorry about the background, my dad's on the phone. Can't do anything about it. We live in an apartment. So. Of course, they're a bunch of old men. And they're too old to fight. So they basically stay there and look over the city. Sort of as judges. The chorus kind of represents a patriarchal society because it consists of all men. All men. They are basically the voice of the play. They narrate the play, so it's told from man's perspective, I guess. And Aeschylus was a man. The herald and messenger, merely people who are sort of like messengers, but really they are really affected by the war in different senses. The watchman at home, the herald at war, they both were waiting for the war to end. Now moving on, Aeschylus. While it's not quite as clear in this play, there's a couple lines in Libation Bearers, and I just want to bring this up now. Aeschylus, sort of like a woman. Clytemnestra is a man, in a sense. Aeschylus seems to follow the path of Clytemnestra. He seems to be manipulated by her. It's like, I don't think he could have gotten revenge on Agamemnon on his own. I think it had to take him hooking up with Clytemnestra for him to get revenge for his brother's death and the traumatization of his father. It's my general opinion on Aeschylus. Cassandra. Okay. Very different from Clytemnestra. Unlike Clytemnestra, she seems weak. She seems a more feminine character. Clytemnestra is definitely much more masculine. She is able to think a lot of thoughts, a lot of thoughts like about all these prophecies and stuff. and for that she's considered mad. A woman who speaks is bad. Clytemnestra really does not speak; she acts. That's the difference between those two. And Agamemnon back to one thing Cassandra forgot to say. I think the whole thing where nobody believes her, believes anything she says, it's sort of the dilemma of the woman of that time period where she, no matter what she says, she's not going to be believed. She's not going to be taken seriously. That's what Cassandra stands for, like a stereotype of a woman. And Clytemnestra is sort of the opposite. Agamemnon, very prideful, boastful, arrogant. Even though the play is called Agamemnon, he's not the protagonist. Clytemnestra is. She is highly manipulative and is much stronger than she lets on. Is quite cunning. Like I said, masculine. And more active than talkative. I'm trying to decide what are her intentions. Did she really do all this because if I was killed by Agamemnon? I mean, sacrificed. Sorry, sacrificed. So, do I think that's the reason why she killed Agamemnon? Hell no. I think she's just an evil character. I think Aeschylus meant her to be evil. I think the philosophy behind her character is she is unlike other women. She appears strong, therefore she has to be evil at the same time. And I think that's my interpretation for her. I don't think that she should be evil. I mean, just because she's strong, but I guess that's the way she's meant to be portrayed. So, looking at some of the themes of the play, we have war, feminism, revenge and justice, family murder, prophecy, and hubris. And some of the imagery, the net, and the yoke. Let's talk about hubris. I think that's right there. Hubris is a Greek word. It means pride. And men cannot have too much power. Man cannot have too much power. If he does have too much power, he will be rising above the gods, and he must fall. And Agamemnon, he just completed the war and was victorious. He was destined to fall. Only here is to come eventually, but here I don't think it was decreed by the gods. I think it was in Clytemnestra's hands. Prophecy. Prophecy is basically the foretelling of the gods by humans. Characters who have this gift are often blessed by the gods. They appear to be outcasts. Humans do not trust an oracle in the form of a human. Family murder. It's another one. So we learn of an uncle killing his nephews. So Agamemnon's father, as he did to his brother's kids. This sacrifice of Agamemnon's daughter, and Agamemnon's wife killing him. So why is it so crucial, this all family killing family thing? Um, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, honestly, I'm looking at my notes here, and I'm going by what I wrote down, and I've had a little time to think about it, but it all, I guess, ties in with revenge and justice. How from family murder there's revenge and justice, and then it just goes into the cycle of violence. Um, Same thing with war, and that ties in with hubris. And finally, feminism. Cloudmaster really takes new shit from Agamemnon. There's a clear difference between her and the soft-spoken Cloudmaster. There's a clear difference between Cassandra, as I said, the submissive object who speaks, and Cloudmaster, the really active, strong character, who appears devoted when in reality she's quite crafty. So how do these all tie in? Agamemnon is a man of great power, but he can't rise above the gods. His wife kills him as an act of supposed vengeance, a powerful act for a woman, and her reasons were justified by her maternal instincts, but since she cannot be called upon by the gods to kill him, she's to be punished. And this goes into the whole thing about law enforcement. This play is all about law enforcement. The 3 plays are about law enforcement. So these acts will be followed up in the libation bearers and then ultimately concluded in the Eumenides. So this play is, I think, mainly more than anything about justice. So let's end with criticism, shall we? I definitely think there was strong imagery and definitely strong elements of tragedy, all the necessary components to build a tragedy based on poetics. Definitely compelling themes that address the human condition and heightened language. A simple set, striking images and comparisons. There are much less negatives with this play. It does have an unrealistic sense of unity. So how do I explain that? It basically ends with the Trojan War ending, and then right after, so they learn the news just about immediately, and within like 20-30 minutes, Agamemnon's home. And that defies the realistic sense of unity as a play. Also, it's a fairly large cast, and it all depends on what kind of theater you're working in. So if you're working in college or community, where it's not paid, having 12 actors as the chorus, and those 6 characters, which can be doubled as 3 characters, so 15 characters. It's usually what the play calls for. It's a fairly big cast. I always think that you can really downsize the chorus from 12 to maybe 6. Really, I think you can. And I think the play is still strong with like 6 chorus members, as long as they totally outnumber the number of characters on stage. That's my 2 cents. So if you do that, then you take away that negative. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have for Agamemnon. Wow, this video was about 30 minutes long, so if you watch it, good for you. I hope you learned something. Okie dokie. I'll see you guys tomorrow for libation mirrors. Bye.